I believe that you should change your underwear at least once a day. That's my personal belief as a human, as a family doctor. Why do I believe this? Well, I was raised this way. It's my own personal practice, but there are also health reasons, which I'll tell you in a second. But I also need to be honest, there are many people who disagree with me. I mean, there are many people who feel like, look, if you've showered, you're clean, you put on clean underwear, and you wear that underwear for over a day, but you don't get soiled, you don't get sweaty, and blah, 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 you should be fine. There are plenty of people who think it's okay to wear underwear longer than a day. So, my first question to you is, what do you think? How long should you wear your underwear for? Is it a day or so, which is my practice and what I recommend, or do you feel like it's okay to go longer? Now, I do think that what we believe probably has a lot to do with our culture, where in the world we live, how we've been raised, etc., what we do for work, the climate we live in, and so many other things, right? But write in the comments, let me know what you think, okay? By the way, I'm Dr. Jen. It's good to see you guys. Now, let me tell you why I say every day. And it isn't just because I was raised that way. I say every day also for health reasons, okay? Remember, our body goes through a lot of changes throughout the day. And even if you've taken a shower, you're squeaky clean over the course of that 24-hour period of time, there are things that are going to happen. Your skin cells they slough off, they change. That's just something that happens with us because we are humans. And other sort of processes. For that reason alone, I think it's reasonable to change your underwear just like you change your clothes every day, right? But the other thing I would say too is that our bodies also change as a natural part of the day. There are probably times where we may be more moist down in our genital areas, whether it's full out sweating or just being more moist because maybe we had to run across the street or run to our car or run out the door, whatever. There are also things that happen in our daily life that sometimes we can't control so much or may not realize it's happening. Let me give you an example, okay? You go to the bathroom, either number one or number two. You either urinate or you have a bowel movement or whatever. But this is the thing. Sometimes we think we're wiping adequately. Let's talk about in the case of the bowel movement. We do our best to wipe adequately, but we may not quite get the job done. And, things like feces and feces particles could be either small particles that we can't see or can see in our undies, and that could predispose us to bacterial exposure, okay? Now, look, doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen. Let's also talk about urine, okay? It's not uncommon for people to dribble every now and then. Maybe you don't wipe as well as you think. Maybe a little bit came out after you thought you were done. Either way, you might have a little bit of urine in your undies. Things like this happen, okay? And that's one of the reasons why I say change your underwear every day, and that way sort of the normal ups and downs of life, you might be able to mitigate better in terms of lowering your risk of infection or things like that. That can happen perhaps if you don't change your underwear every day. By the way, I'm going to tell you what could happen if you don't change your underwear enough, okay? But those are just some of the few reasons why I think it's important to change your underwear every day. Now, let me tell you the situations where I think you need to change your underwear more than normal. Like whatever your baseline is, whatever you normally do, these are situations where I'm like, dude, you need to up the ante, okay? Number one is if you're sweating, like you're going to the gym, working out, well, please change your underwear. Hopefully you're showering as well as changing your underwear. But don't wear sweaty undies all day because it can predispose you to infection and other things, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. So sweat. The other thing is depending on where you live. Many of you live in Caribbean and warm climates or warm states even. And you might be in an environment where you sweat and you just need to change your underwear more than normal because of the environment that you live in or whatever you're doing that day. Oh, and let me tell you what underwear I think is best, okay? I am a fan of cotton undies. They may not seem like the most glamorous undies, but your private parts are going to think they're glamorous, let me tell you. Why? Because cotton breathes. It allows your body to breathe, and it's going to help sort of reduce, hopefully, the chance of you sweating and trapping moisture and having an increased risk of yeast infections, bacterial infections, things like that. So we love cotton because it tends to breathe better than other fabrics. The other thing is not so tight constricting undies. Again, sometimes we may like them on other people, but in terms of our genitals are probably happiest with the loose-fitting cotton undies that, again, allow us to breathe that are not so constricting. So those are my favorite undies, and undies that I think sometimes do us the best, okay? But back to when you need to change your underwear more than like what your normal is. Okay, so we talked about the climate and things like that. Let's also talk about menstruation. Okay, many women feel more comfortable simply changing their underwear multiple times a day during their menstrual period as a matter of comfort, as a matter of just sort of feeling fresh and clean. And the other thing too to remember is that sometimes accidents do happen, right? So if there's obvious soiling to your underwear, right, that is a situation. And that's not just your menstrual period. We're talking about if your undies get soiled with urine or with feces, stool, etc. Those are reasons to change your underwear above the amounts of times that you normally change them, right? Now, the other thing I would say too, another situation where you may want to consider changing your underwear more than normal, what's normal for you, is in the case of vaginal discharge, okay? Depending on the time of the month and what's going on in your life and who you are, your body may produce a decent amount of vaginal discharge. And that in and of itself may be a reason for you to change your underwear more than usual, depending on, what's going on in your life at that time. And then the last thing I would say too about changing your underwear, many people, change their underwear after sexual activity. They feel more comfortable changing their underwear after sexual activity, and that's something that they do routinely, whether or not it's accompanied with a shower. Again, it's a personal preference. People do different things, okay? So those are situations where I would do more changing of the underwear than you do at your baseline. Now, what could happen if you don't change your underwear enough? No matter how often it is that you change it, but if it's just not enough. Now, many of the things we talked about already, biggest thing I worry about, and this is one of the reasons why I want you to change every day, is just an increased risk for bacterial and fungal infections, yeast, fungus, bacteria, etc. That can grow, develop, be trapped if there's a warm, moist environment that doesn't breathe, and maybe not so clean environment as well, right? So bacteria, yeast can accumulate and maybe predispose you to having an infection, okay? Everyone does not have that same risk, but it is there, let me tell you. The other thing is, depending on like your skin down there, if you have really sensitive skin in your genital area, or if you have, psoriasis or eczema, changing your underwear really may be good for your health in terms of reducing the risk of rashes and stuff like that, sweating, other things. And then just generally rashes and irritation. Look, as I said, I was pretty transparent from the beginning. I'm a change your underwear every day type of girl. But you may not agree. You may not do that. Let me know. I want to know right in the comments what you do, what you think people should do. I also want you to share this video with someone else and get their opinion and have them write. And if you're someone who was shared this video to, write in the comments what you think. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen. I'm a practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. Like my page on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. at Dr. Jen Caudle. And go to my website, drjencaudle.com, to sign up for my free health newsletter. Guys, love y'all. Okay, bye.